Happy Motivational Monday, everybody. And I'm so glad once again that we have this time to share. Today, we're going to be talking about codependency. Am I codependent? What actually is codependent? And if I am, how do I stop being codependent? And is codependent a good thing or a bad thing? Well, let's just dive right in. First of all, I'm going to give you some symptoms of a person or people that could be codependent, and we can see if you fit in or not. The first one is a codependent person usually is one that's going to sacrifice themselves, and they're thinking they're sacrificing themselves for the good of others. We call it the martyr syndrome, where, well, woe is me, I can't take time to do this, that, and the other because I have to do this for them. Or if I don't set the alarm for them, or if I don't call them in the morning, they won't get up on time. They depend on me. I wish I could sleep in, but I can't because I'm sacrificing myself for someone else. That could be codependent. That is a person that has codependent tendencies. Feeling compelled to help others, not being able to say no is, yes, I'm going to have to because they're just in a bad way. And nothing wrong with that. But when it sacrifices your own needs and your own responsibilities, it can become a problem. So when you're compelled, well, I'm going to go on and stay late from work because the others can't, or I'm going to need to do this, that, and the other. I have to be the mediator to go between my kids and their dad, or whatever the case may be. Feeling responsible for others before yourself. We are responsible for others lots of times, and nothing wrong with that. But at the expense of yourself is, I have to stay up at night when everybody else goes to bed because I need to sew this, I need to bake that, I've got to do this, I've got to do that. Yes, I'm always tired, I'm always frazzled, but I have all of this responsibility for others, but it's at the expense of your own well-being. If you're judgmental, that is a form of codependency. What does it mean to be judgmental? Because we all can say, oh, it would be great if they did this, that, or the other, or I've been down that path and I can see where it would be better if they did that. But being judgmental is something a little bit different. Being judgmental is when you feel like, oh, they didn't do it right, and if they had asked me, or if I had done it, it would have been different, or I cannot believe that they married that person, or they did this, this, and this, and I'm not going to talk with them and be friends with them anymore because they did this, that, and the other, and I didn't feel like they should, and they're not taking care of their mother properly, or whatever those things that we stand in judgment. Even something simple as maybe at work is, I don't know why they would do the filing like that. That is the stupidest thing. And whatever the case may be, a negative attitude, but you stand in judgment of others and their decision. Excuse me, it could be that that you are being judgmental, but it could be that you are codependent and you want the person to come to you and you know a better way and a better way of thinking, a better way of doing things, all of those things. It's when you are pushy, not being assertive, but pushy. Assertive is, yes, I will speak up for myself and I will say, if I'm asked, yes, this could be done like this or like that. But being pushy is, no, stop. This is how this needs to be. Or even I've heard people say, oh, you're so anxious. Stop right now and breathe. Take 10 minutes. If they didn't ask you to do that, help me with my anxiety, then I am crossing a little border, a little boundary that I shouldn't, and if the person is like that, then you say, oh, well, I hope you feel better and do whatever you need to do to make yourself feel better. But just being very pushy is, you need to do this like that, or I went on and I bought you these vitamins because you need them. I saw them at the store and I counted them out to make sure you took them, and you said you took them and you didn't. All of those things are a form of codependency. Trying to control others, that comes under all of the other that we actually talked about, where we try to be in control of every situation and everything. Everything has to pass through me, everything. I know what's best. I was watching some little show on, or movie, that's what it was, on one of the stations or on Netflix or wherever, that because I said so. And it was the mom who, this should be like this and this is that. And why? Because I said so. I'm the mom and I know what's best. And you don't need to get that wedding gown. You're going to regret that and this, that, and the other. And trying to control every situation, even if you are the mom and even if we do know what's best. And that leads us to not having boundaries or crossing other people's boundaries. We don't have the boundaries where we let people treat us any kind of way or do anything to us. And, we suffer silently, but we don't say anything. I don't want to rock the boat, or they'll get too upset, or if I say that, they'll get mad, and I don't know what will happen with that. Those things are not a positive. Or I cross their boundaries. They say, I don't like when you do this, and we do it anyway. Too bad. This is how I've always done it, and I'm going to keep doing it like this, and not respecting the other person's boundaries. That's a form of codependency. Giving unsolicited advice, which comes in a lot with one of the other symptoms that I already gave. That unsolicited advice is, I know what you need to do and you need to do that. And then getting upset when the person doesn't follow your unsolicited advice and getting an attitude about it. Those things are a form of codependency. And the last, which covers all of it, is feeling exhausted and tired and irritated from taking care of others. Some that they didn't ask to take care, or that you're doing too much. You shouldn't be doing all of that. They didn't ask your advice. They didn't ask you to do this, that, and the other. You're feeling exhausted and irritated because you're doing the most, as I say. And so all of these things lead to a codependent life. Is some people seem to need the chaos of life. Maybe they've gotten accustomed to that all their life. There's always been something going on, some kind of drama, some kind of stuff. I have to come in and I have to be the savior, so to speak. Also, if you watched a previous episode that we did, that's a form of depression as well, is I'm not feeling good about myself. And so the way I can feel better about myself is my life is out of control, so I can try and control yours. And those things are not good. And they will lead to you being irritated, to you being tired all the time, to you being upset. And it even affects you, not just emotionally, but physically. So now, what do we do? Because now we can tell, okay, yes, I can see that I have some of those symptoms and all of them at different times in my life. So what can I do then to stop having codependent relationships and can set more boundaries and deal with my own self and my own stuff? Well, one of the best ways, the first things to do is to learn to say no, and that no is okay. A lot of times we, especially women, are expected to say yes, and we feel guilty when we don't. And heaven forbid if you're a Christian. Oh, that's a whole other level of codependency. Is, the church will be upset, or Jesus wouldn't want me not to do this, or this is good and I need to help my fellow man. But a part of being being in healthy relationship is learning to say no, that I can't do all of that. I can pick and choose what I can do, and this is it. And it's not selfish, it's a positive. Focusing on your needs first. This can really make you feel like that you're selfish. But it's very important that you take care of your needs first so that you can be more effective taking care of other people. You can't really take good care of the people you need to take care of if you are not taking care of yourself first. So you need that self-care. You need to take time and get a nice hot bath and have some nice quiet time where dad takes care of the children just for a little bit, or sit the children, sad to say, in front of a good movie just for a little bit, so that you can have just a little bit of time for yourself, whatever it is. Or I'm going to take the children to the park, and while they're at the park and I'm sitting watching them, I can take a couple of minutes for myself. Because the reason I'm expounding on that is because a lot of time as moms, with especially young children, we feel like we have to do everything and we don't have time, especially if you happen to be a single person or your husband is away in the military or whatever the case may be. A lot of their whole life does revolve around us, but we still cannot be the quality parent we need to be if we do not take some time for ourselves. And if you don't take time for yourself, you end up, you and your children, or you and your mate, or whoever, in a very codependent relationship, and you're not happy, you're not pleased, because you're in this cycle of I have to do everything and he's expecting me to do it, and if I don't, things get crazy and all of this kind of stuff. And inside you're resentful and you're beginning to not appreciate the family like you should. All kinds of ramifications can come as a result of you not taking care of your needs first, you not knowing how to say no, and then not having a balance with giving and receiving. Lots of times, I know I've been guilty of that when my children were very young. My ex-husband, their dad, he would say, I can help take care of the kids. I can bathe them and get them ready for bed. And I let him do it a couple of times. And then, they had on Sesame Street top with, Big Bird bottom, or whatever the case may be, mismatched clothes, or they still had a little soap behind their ear, or whatever the case may be. And I'm having a fit, like, they're not dressed for bed properly. They're not matching. And you took them to the park and they didn't have on any socks, or whatever the case may be. And eventually he stopped really doing all of that. And then I became upset because you're not helping me with the kids and you're not helping me feed, and I'm having to do all of this by myself. He's like, well, when I tried to help, I couldn't do anything right. I'm trying to feed the child, and no, that's not how you feed them. You need to separate the food, and that's too much in his mouth, and you're not wiping the mouth after you finish, on and on and on. And I'm getting irritated. He's getting irritated because he's getting irritated and not helping. I'm getting irritated because he's not helping. But it's really my problem because I am being codependent and not balancing the giving and receiving. So it's important that you allow people to do what it is they can do. As independent as a person can be, allow that. Even whatever that 2-year-old can do, it may not be done right because he's a 2-year-old. It may not, but it's done okay. And he takes pride in it, and she's happy that she has helped, and it gives them a sense of independence. And you can just enjoy that little bit independence. Put your toys in the toy box. All of them may not go in there right or how you would have them in there. the little bears on the shelf and the little My Little Ponies here, whatever the case may be, but the toys made it close to the toy box. Sometimes that's okay, is to allow that balance of giving and receiving, them giving of their best and you receiving whatever that is. Don't lose yourself in a relationship. This can be very hard to not do, okay? Is to not lose yourself. We begin well, I don't have time to hang out with my girlfriends, and I used to talk to my mom once a week, but I can't now, and I'm working extra, and I'm trying to make ends meet, and I'm doing this and this, and the kids are going to the basketball games, and I gotta take Susie to get a new pair of shoes, and on and on and on it can go. And you can lose yourself in a relationship to where it's just you and your mate, or just you by yourself with your kids, or whatever the case may be, and you've surrounded yourself with that. You realize one day, you know what, I never ever really did like sweet potatoes. I always liked pumpkin, but because he likes sweet potatoes, we eat sweet potato pie all the time. And I realized I don't even like it, you know. Or I like my eggs fried, but he likes them boiled. And so, or the kids only want their spaghetti without meatballs or whatever. And you lose yourself completely in whatever relationships. I've seen this even happen with friends. Is we're going out tonight. Well, where do you want to go? It doesn't matter, even though you do have a preference, but you let the friend always be the one to choose, and you're resentful because I don't want to go to that Chinese restaurant, not one more time, and eat chicken wings or whatever the case may be, and not speaking up and saying, I would like to go here this time, or I would like to do this, that, and the other, or let's stay in. I would just like, no, we're always losing ourselves in relationship. And what ends up happening is the other person doesn't lose themselves in relationship with you, and it can make you very resentful. I know I was talking to a couple a long while ago, and they were upset because of the wife was upset because she was like, I sacrifice all the time. I do not like sports like that. I don't even understand them. But when he has his friends come over, I fix the chicken wings, I fix the nachos, I get the beer cold. I do all of those things so that he and his friends can enjoy the sports. And I even sit down and watch them. But then when I ask him to go with the play with me. He's like, no, I'm not doing that. It's like, just do it because I want you to do it. No, I'm not. And she was very resentful because she's like, well, do you think I want to serve your friends and do all of that? And then he was like, well, nobody asked you to do it. Before I was married, I still hung out with them and we just ordered stuff from Domino's or whatever. You're the one that wants to do that. And it led for a lot of dissension in the relationship because she was giving more than she was receiving, and she was losing herself in the relationship, but he was still keeping himself and keeping his boundaries and what he wanted. And so it's nothing wrong with wanting to please the other, but when it gets to where you're losing yourself and your identity and not even sometimes knowing, what is it do I really like? And now that I have a couple of minutes, I don't even know what I would like to watch or what I would like to eat. I'm always trying to please someone else. That is a codependent relationship. And this is a way this is a way to stop having codependent relationship, is by not losing yourself, being aware that I'm not going to keep losing myself in the relationship. Where am I in it? And what is it that I would like to do? And then allowing others to just be themselves. You be yourself and allow others. And I know sometimes as parents, that's hard because we see our children making going different paths than what we feel like they should go, making mistakes, whatever the case may be. And we want to keep them out of harm's way. Sometimes it's not hard, it's hard, or sometimes you just can't. You just have to let that person learn for themselves and be who they are. And then you be who you are and learn to set boundaries. Set those boundaries. This is what I can do and this is what I can't do. I will let you be yourself as long as it doesn't affect our well-being. And if it does, I'm going to have to let you go because I'm not going to be able to keep participating in your bad behavior. Setting those boundaries is so important. And learning, as I go back over, learning to say no, focusing on yourself first so you can be best for others. Also, having that balance of give and take. Don't lose yourself in the relationship. Allow others to be who they are and you be who you need to be. And then sometimes at the end of everything, share those negative feelings. If you're having issue, speak up. Don't always just suck it up because it will affect you emotionally and physically. So if this fits you in any kind of a way, hopefully I've given you some helpful tools that can help you to be a more balanced person and to start knowing that in order for me to be good for others, I have got to be good for myself first. And I can't depend or codepend on you to make that happen. I have to do that for myself. If you have any questions or comments, as always, feel free to email me. You just have the most wonderful, motivated Monday. And remember, be codependent no more.